Next on ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso Weekend, new details this morning on a rollover in the Northeast that kills one high school student and injures more. A semi-truck barrels into a local motel, killing a person inside and sending the driver to the hospital. And it's a cultural clash causing a national firestorm. Could bathroom restrictions be coming to Texas? And a Storm Track weather, Iris.
We saw those 90s yesterday. Will we see them yet again today? And what about winds? I'll let you know all about that coming up.
This is all the news you need to start your Saturday, May 7th. ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso Weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso Weekend.
Well, good morning, El Paso, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. New details this morning. We now know the name of the passenger killed in that deadly rollover yesterday in Northeast El Paso. According to the Chapin High School Student Council Twitter page, Christopher Carreon was a senior on the varsity baseball team. The crash also left two others seriously injured. It all happened shortly after 4 o'clock Friday afternoon on Gateway North near Moonlight. That's just before you get to Hondo Pass. The driver somehow lost control of the car and crashed into a sign and fence near an eye care center. The car rolled over and ended up on its top. A police dispatch supervisor told us crews had to use the jaws of life to get everyone out. A woman who lives nearby told ABC 7 as soon as she heard the crash, she rushed over to help.
And when I came out here, I just saw the car that was flipped already. And we saw a guy with his hand sticking out the window, and we saw another guy in the back in the car, but we didn't see his hand moving. We just told that guy to move his hand like that we'll know that he's alive.
The identities of the two other victims have not yet been released. And police are still trying to figure out what caused a driver of a trailer to drive off I-10 and crash into a motel. Happened just after 10 o'clock yesterday morning in West El Paso. The driver of the truck veered off I-10 east near Starry Night. Then it went across a parking lot. We're told the truck almost hit a funeral home, but went right towards a Studio 6 motel, going through a rock wall and coming to a stop inside a motel room. The man who was inside that room was killed. We have confirmed he worked for a company called TowerCom. They're based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and work on cell phone towers. A representative of the company told us El Paso police had notified them about the crash. They're not releasing his name until relatives have been notified. As for the semi, it was carrying a load of heavy metal beams. We're told the driver of the semi was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Police are not releasing his name at this time. And out of that murderous rampage in Maryland and the shock over who was allegedly responsible. The killing spree started outside a high school before moving to a shopping mall and a grocery store. 3 people died before the suspect was taken down, and authorities are stunned that the alleged suspect is a federal law enforcement officer. Pierre Thomas has more on the story.
Watch the final tense moments as authorities arrest a federal police officer accused of going on a deadly rampage that left 3 people dead in 24 hours.
Just finished shooting at the mall. We're trying to set up a perimeter. We're looking out for a gray silver car.
11:15 a.m. Shots are fired in the parking lot at the Montgomery Mall in Maryland. A woman hit by gunfire, with 2 men trying to help her shot as well. All rushed to the hospital where one of the Good Samaritans later dies.
Silver car. The subject is going to be armed and has possible police experience.
35 minutes later, another fatal shooting. A woman killed at this giant supermarket just 10 miles away from the Montgomery Mall.
A woman was sitting in her car and had been shot. She is deceased.
Almost 3 hours later, authorities arrest the suspect identified as Eulalio Tordillo. Police believe the Federal Protective Service officer is responsible for both shootings. Authorities say Tordillo's alleged shooting spree began Thursday afternoon after he is accused of killing his estranged wife at this Maryland high school.
One of the plainclothes officers observed a vehicle, a silver vehicle, that matched the description of a homicide that occurred in Prince George's County last night.
Overnight, police charged Tordillo with first-degree murder and assault along with other related charges in connection with the high school shooting. He's yet to be charged for Friday's deadly events. Homeland Security officials tell ABC News Tordillo had been placed on administrative leave. His badge and gun taken after a court order to stay away from his wife was issued last March.
Since he had already shot 4 people today, we certainly did not want to have any other bloodshed.
As you can see in the surveillance footage of his arrest, police surround his car and he later surrenders without a fight.
And that was Pierre Thomas reporting. Back around the borderland, a 3-month-old baby was somehow still alive after doctors say she had 26 fractures throughout her body. Now the couple, who's accused of abusing the baby, face almost 40 years in prison if convicted. Cleopatra Ball and Warren McCallum are charged with child abuse and child neglect. They're currently out on bond awaiting trial. The baby is 1 year old and we're told is doing well in state custody. Court documents obtained by ABC7 state the baby was 3 months old in March of 2015 when her mother, Cleopatra Ball, took the baby to the hospital. Ball and Warren McCallum told investigators the baby had a bone disease, but doctors ruled out any medical conditions. A trial is expected later this year. Switching to your Storm Track weather now. Let's get your first forecast with Storm Tracker Iris Lopez. Those winds still a thing there, Iris.
That is right. We saw them yesterday. We're going to continue to see them today. But hey, it is Saturday. We made it to the weekend. Yeah, so that's something positive to look forward to. But let's see how warm it is outside. We're going to start warming up pretty quickly, as you can tell right here. 67 in El Paso, sunny skies. And then at the El Paso International Airport, they're in the lower breezy category. You can see those winds picking up west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. What about you, Las Cruces? You are in those lower 60s, sunny skies. Winds picking up as well, west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. They're going to be traveling anywhere across Texas, southwest. These are what those temperatures are looking like. 67 Lubbock, lower 60s in Amarillo, already in those 70s over in Midland. Let's take a look at Flagstaff with 34, 60 over in Phoenix, then good old Las Vegas at 56. For your forecast this morning, you can see those upper 60s well up until your 11 o'clock, and then by 11, those winds are going to be, those wind gusts, 29 miles per hour. Now I'm going to answer those weather questions. You know me, I love questions that you ask me. First of all, is it picnic weather for this afternoon? And then what about a romantic date this evening? How will those temperatures for your evening be? And can I enjoy Mother's Day outside? I have your Mother's Day forecast, evening planner, all that coming up. Andrew?
Thanks, Iris. Check back in just a bit. In the meantime, though, the controversial debate over the so-called bathroom bill has caused a national firestorm. The backlash is growing in states like North Carolina and Mississippi that have both passed laws restricting who can use public bathrooms. The worry is that the debate is just getting started here in Texas. ABC7's Josie Ortegon reports.
From North Carolina to Mississippi, laws restricting the rights of transgenders causing financial turmoil.
Jobs are on the line. Economic development growth in those states is being challenged now.
Similar ordinances failed at least twice in Texas, once in Houston and just this week in Rockwall. In an interview with WFAA, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said he would support a, quote, bathroom bill in the upcoming legislative session.
I want to be sure that men don't go into ladies' rooms and women's locker rooms. And right now, if it's not a problem, then no one should complain about if we pass a bill to stop it.
As opposition grows, Texas businesses are hoping to prevent potential backlash if it did happen by signing the Texas Competes Pledge, a coalition vowing to open business and bathrooms to everyone. Nearly 900 businesses across the state have signed the pledge. Locally, more than 30, including Mesa Street Grill in West El Paso.
For us to exclude anybody on account of who they are or what they identify as isn't the right thing to do.
Richard Dayu with the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce says while they believe it's the right thing to do, he knows not everyone will be in support.
Our members run their own businesses, and they are free to decide for themselves what their positions will be in support of or in opposition to, or in some cases, I'm sure, neutral on the issue.
Josie Ortegon, ABC7.
And a spokesperson for Lieutenant Governor Patrick tells ABC7 while he supports a statewide ban, there's nothing in the works yet in terms of actual legislation. Well, do you want Uber to stay in El Paso? That's the question that caught City Council between a rock and a hard place. Uber is threatening to leave El Paso if City Council tightens regulations like taxi drivers are asking for. But Uber says it's not a taxi service. It's just an app that puts passengers in touch with drivers. City Representative Courtney Nyland posted a survey on social media asking if El Pasoans want to keep Uber. Now, nearly 1,700 people answered, and almost 97% say yes. A revised ordinance would require cab companies and Uber to operate under the same rules. Nyland thinks that the best answer may be to deregulate taxis so they can keep up with Uber.
If it right now is at a point where it's too onerous and the restrictions are too hard for this industry to be competitive, let's dial it back a little bit.
We're just asking to, they get the same regulation as us. They can work. Not the way they're working now.
Now, council is set to hold a town hall meeting on May 17th to discuss the issue. They will not vote on an ordinance yet. We've put a poll on our website if you want to weigh in. That's KVIA.com. Well, superhero fans rejoice. It's Free Comic Book Day. Retailers all over the country observe the holiday the first Saturday in May. It all started in 2001 when a comic book retailer in California saw the success of comic books-based movies and decided to expose moviegoers to the stories and illustrations that inspired those movies. That clearly not the video here. The first Free Comic Book Day was held on the opening weekend of Spider-Man in 2002. Here in El Paso, Old Major Comics is celebrating the holiday, among others, by having a number of free comics and collectibles, along with a number of raffles throughout the day. That store will be open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., located at 10,780 Pebble Hills. And in case you forgot, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so why not celebrate a day early and take her to the Mariachi Loco Festival downtown. The fest combines both Cinco de Mayo and Mother's Day into one big party. Special performances include Aida Cuevas, Sebastián de la Cruz, and Gerardo Fierro. Gates open today at noon, and the party lasts until midnight. Then on Sunday, gates reopen the same time, 12 to midnight. Tickets are $15 for single days. And of course, don't forget to pick up your copy of the El Paso Ink. This week, only in El Paso Ink, while El Paso businesses are signing the Texas Competes Pledge to support fair treatment for all. And who's the new boss at a legendary El Paso furniture store? Here's a hint. Her name is Charlotte. And what a San Antonio venture capital company plans to do in El Paso. El Paso Ink is online at elpasoink.com and available for home and business delivery. Call 534-4422 to subscribe. And our northern neighbor dealing with a major crisis. Coming up on Good Morning El Paso weekend, authorities now trying to move evacuees to a safer location as the battle against the flames continues. And later, new citizens welcome to the borderland, and they're already exercising their rights. It is 8:12 right now, taking a live look at traffic this morning. US 54 in Sean Haggerty was one car really there. 54 in Paisano, a few more vehicles out there, but otherwise moving along just fine. We have no reports of any major incidents on the roadways. US 54 in Alameda, a few more vehicles, but again, looking pretty clear for anywhere you're headed today. And Storm Track weather, Iris.
Your afternoon windcast and answering those very important weather questions. That's what I'm going to do coming up.
You're watching ABC 7, where news comes first.